Former Finance Minister Rishi Sunak and Foreign Secretary Liz Truss have emerged as the main contenders in the race to replace Boris Johnson as UK Prime Minister. Sunak has led in all rounds of the voting among Conservative lawmakers, but Truss seems to have gained the advantage so far among the around 200,000 members of the governing party who will ultimately choose the winner.
Former Finance Minister Rishi Sunak and Foreign Secretary Liz Truss made the final two candidates on Wednesday to become Britain's next Prime Minister, kickstarting the last stage of the contest to replace Boris Johnson. 11 candidates originally put their names forward, but in a fifth and final ballot of Conservative lawmakers, the junior Trade Minister Penny Mordaunt was eliminated.
As returning officer, I can give you the results of the ballot. 357 votes were cast out of a possible 358. There were 2 spoiled ballot papers. The numbers of votes cast for each candidate is as follows. Mordaunt, 105. Sunak, 137. Truss, 113. Therefore, Rishi Sunak and Liz Truss will be the candidates going forward to a final ballot of Conservative Party members. The ballot will close on the 2nd of September, and I will announce the results at 12:30 p.m. on Monday, the 5th of September.
The final stretch of a weeks-long contest will pit Sunak, a former Goldman Sachs banker who has raised the tax burden towards the highest level since the 1950s, against Truss, a convert to Brexit who has pledged to cut taxes and regulation. Johnson was forced to resign this month after he dramatically lost the support of his lawmakers following months of scandals, including breaches of COVID-19 pandemic lockdown rules.
London-based journalist Jon Ofei-Ansah is founder and publisher of Africa Briefing, a Pan-African news magazine. He speaks to us from London for the latest. John, good to talk to you again. So it seems that the race is hotting up. Just explain this to me. We're saying that Sunak is ahead, but we're saying at the same time that there seems to be Liz Truss winning the confidence of those who eventually will have to vote for the PM.
Yes, it's one thing getting the majority of the votes from their parliamentary colleagues, and quite another winning the votes of the rank and file members of the Conservative Party. And at the close of day today, for the latest YouGov poll today, puts Liz Truss at 62% and Sunak at 38%. So it appears Liz Truss is ahead, is the favorite to win, can I say, the popular vote of the Conservative rank and file come September 3rd.
So in terms of the final round, we saw Sunak leading by 137 votes to Truss's 113. So that margin, is it for those in Parliament? Is that what the distinction is?
Yeah, because it's like something like a process of elimination. First, you have to be voted for by the Conservative members of Parliament, right? And I mean, there was a series of votes, elimination, until the final 2 were voted for. That is Sunak and Liz Truss. So now these 2 candidates are going to be voted in by the rank and file members, about 180,000 registered members of the Conservative Party, to elect the new leader of the party and therefore the new Prime Minister.
All right, so let's look at the two themselves. So Rishi Sunak has been the front runner for quite some time, it's been said. He has been, let's look at how he served. He serves as Johnson's Chancellor of Exchequer from 2020 to 2022. He's been regarded as making a largely positive public profile, introducing popular measures during the coronavirus pandemic, such as the furlough scheme and discounts on eating in restaurants. Why does he stand ahead in terms of what the pundits have been saying? I understand that those aren't necessarily reliable.
You see, look, in British politics, whenever your Chancellor of the Exchequer, that means your finance minister resigns, that spells doom for your government, for you, the Prime Minister. Okay, and Sunak was known to be a close ally of Boris Johnson, and his resignation precipitated Boris Johnson's resignation, right? So most of the Tory rank and file see him as a backstabber, something they don't like. Okay, and again, when you talk about, you pitch him against Liz Truss. Liz Truss, has pledged to cut taxes. I mean, one of the first things he's pledged to do if he's elected would be to cut taxes. And look, the average British voter always votes from his pocket. I recall during the days of Margaret Thatcher, we had a term called the Essex man. The Essex man always votes from his pocket. So if you are going to put more money in his pocket by cutting taxes, yes, you are their person, you are their man. Therefore, Liz Truss is their woman. Okay, and again, when it comes to Sunak's wife, is an Indian. Is married to the daughter of an Indian billionaire. Okay, and the wife herself is a millionaire in her own right. She lives here in the UK, right? And she's registered as a non-domiciliary. Okay, and she didn't pay taxes on her, on her wealth, right? Until it came out a few months ago. So that, and it didn't sit down well with the British public. Okay, that you are the Chancellor of the Exchequer, your wife is not paying taxes on her enormous wealth, so that didn't go well. Okay, and again, he was known to have held a U.S. green card until recently. So if you are a cabinet minister in the British government, right, and you hold a U.S. green card, I mean, it brings into question your allegiance. Wherein lies your allegiance? Is your allegiance 100% with the UK or partly with America, right? So these are some of the things that go against Rishi Sunak. And again, look, there's the elephant in the room that nobody has mentioned, right? And to me, that big elephant, massive elephant in the room is Rishi Sunak's ethnicity. He's of Indian origin, he's a Hindu, right? And I am not sure that the Conservative Party electorate are ready to elect, a prime minister from an ethnic minority background. That is the elephant in the room that nobody has mentioned.
Jon, this is what I've been wondering about as well, and I believe that not only that there has been concern about the tax issues, whether he would have buckled under the pressure of the scrutiny. This is the feeling by the Conservatives. But both Sunak and Truss apparently face the pressure of the association to Johnson. So let's look at her. She has been also somebody who has defended Boris Johnson throughout some of these scandals, including Sunak. At some stage, as you mentioned, that she stood by her leader throughout all of these scandals, justifying, saying that she didn't resign over the Pincher scandal because she was coordinating the UK's response to Russia's invasion of Ukraine. Will all of this hold water? Is this why she is coming out tops in terms of the figures, although by a slight margin?
Yes, and again, I mean, the biggest aspect going in their favor is the issue of taxes. And again, look, during the Brexit days, funny enough, Rishi Sunak was a Remainer, was against Brexit, right? Was a Brexiteer, whereas Liz Truss was a Remainer. But among the polls today, the polls reveal that most of the Brexiteers support the once upon a time, the once Remainer, Liz Truss, and the Remainers now also support Rishi Sunak. So it's like a game of musical chess. The chess have turned, in the opposite direction. But look, after all said and done, Liz Truss, has won the confidence of the Tory electorate, Conservative electorate, because of his promises to cut taxes. Whereas Rishi Sunak, is adamant that tax cuts will plunge the economy, into a downfall. So he's adamant he will not cut taxes, but also increase them, and increase the corporation tax from the current 19% to 25%. Something that does not sit well with the average British voter.
And just very quickly, so the final decision, I think, is to be made in September. A lot of water could pass underneath the bridge at that time. What are your expectations?
Yeah, look, the gap is too wide. I mean, 62%, and 38%. From where I'm sitting, there's no way I think Rishi Sunak can overcome, or can bridge, that gap. Okay, and again, I mentioned the elephant in the room. Okay, that goes against him.
All right, thank you so much. London-based journalist Jon Ofei-Ansah, founder and publisher of Africa Briefing, a Pan-African news magazine. He speaks to us from London, always bringing us up to speed on developments there.